always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to accompany the rain. And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. Some years back, Joyce Hiffler in the Rochester, New York Democrat and Chronicle wrote, and I quote, "The sound time makes. Little sounds that are imperceptible unless we are as quiet as our own breathing. The ticking of the clock. The cardinal's call. The rivulets of rainfall singing through the drains. We must be very quiet to hear such sounds and other sounds, voices, songs, thoughts. To become still enough to catch the muted sounds will also slow the heartbeat, lower the blood pressure, order the thoughts, and make everything more livable, more workable, and eventually more enjoyable." Unquote. Joyce Hiffler in the Rochester, New York Democrat and Chronicle some years back. In the Rain, this hour, with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Fleetwood Mac in Dreams and Norah Jones and Come Away With Me. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. The first item this hour was sent to me via email by Alexandra some years back, and I thank her once again for this. It is On the Edge of Artistic Visions of the Shrinking Landscape, from Dancing on the Shore by Harold Horwood. And again, I quote, "Why is running water such balm to the human spirit? Why do we sleep more soundly beside a waterfall than in the quiet forest? Better even than the rainbow, I think. It represents for us the continuing process of life on our planet. The flow of water is the cycle of fertility renewing itself. It happens only because the sun has been shining, the mists rising, and the rains falling in the distant hills. A deep human instinct of involvement in the onward flow of life, the cyclical movements of nature, has given us this archetype of flowing water. The sound of it telling us that the world is alive, like the sound of a heart beating beside us in sleep." Unquote. From Dancing on the Shore by Harold Horwood. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Alicia Keys with No One. Whitney Houston and I Look to You, and Edwin McCain and I'll Be. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Sitting by the window on her 67th birthday, Francesca watched the rain and remembered. She carried her brandy into the kitchen and stopped for a moment, staring at the exact spot where the two of them had stood. The feelings inside her were overwhelming. They always were. strong enough that over the years she had dared do this in detail only once a year, or her mind somehow would have disintegrated at the sheer emotional bludgeoning of it all. Her abstinence from her recollections had been a matter of survival, though in the last few years, the detail was coming back more and more often. Unquote. Robert James Waller, writing in the Bridges of Madison County. Published in 1992 by Warner Books. Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. For those not so enamored of the rain, consider this thought. In this perfect scenario, we would all look forward to summer showers. George Eliot wrote, "I wish the sky would rain down roses as they rain from off the shaken bush. They would fall as light as feathers, smelling sweet. And it would be like sleeping and yet waking, all at once." Unfortunately, that scenario is only the romantic vision of the poet. In reality, the best we can hope for is this. From Sidney King Russell's Memories of Midsummer, and I quote, "Your mouth that I remember with rush of sudden pain, as one remembers starlight or roses after rain." Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Marc Cohn, in the middle of the pouring rain, walking in Memphis, and Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. May the fringes be the falling rain. May the border be the standing rainbow. An excerpt from Song of the Sky Loon by a Tuwa Native American. And this excerpt from The Milagro Beanfield War by John Nichols. And I quote, "Hey, angel," Amarante called out in his dream. "What's a rainbow doing over our town on a sunny day like today?" Maybe it's because for once in your lives, you people are trying to do something right. Abruptly, the angel disappeared. Unquote. The words of John Nichols, Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Percy Sledge, When a Man Loves a Woman, and Sarah McLachlan with Angel. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers, from iTunes and CHFI.com. Even if there's no rain forecasted today, June the 3rd, 2010, you can still save this on your MP3 player for a rainy day. A listener in our eastern provinces has been letting me know that it has not been an early arrival for summer in other parts of the country, but it's been so hot and dry where I live that the heavy rains that fell last night are a welcome relief to all growing things. Reminded me of this, which I think is a good close to our hour together. Nothing is more pleasant than greenery washed by the rain and dried by the sun into cleanliness and warmth. Gardens and meadows with moisture at their roots and sunshine on their blossoms become jars of incense, each giving out its scent. The world smiles and bestows itself, and we feel a gentle intoxication. The sun teaches men to endure. Victor Hugo from Les Miserables, and translated by Norman Denny, published by the Folio Society. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. I hope you will tell all your friends about Lovers and Other Strangers. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.